So you will be conducting a qualitative research for your practical research one? Yes? So are you already aware of the different types of qualitative research? Yup. So we have narrative research, phenomenological research, case study, ethnographic research. We also have grounded theory and historical research. Ops, wag kang mataranta, okay? Wag kang ma-stress sa mga terms na yan, lalo pat first time mo lang narinig ang iba dyan. So pag-uusapan natin yan for today's lesson video. So grab yourself a pen and a paper so you can jot down notes. And also, you can make yourself a cup of coffee. So let's discuss the different types of qualitative research. Samahan niyo ako. Let's go! So kung qualitative research ang gagamitin mong approach on your research study, especially those researchers now na enrolled sa practical research one sa senior high school, I want you to know that there are actually 5 types of qualitative research. So ano yung mga 5 types na yon? So the 5 types of a qualitative research are the following. So we have narrative research, phenomenological research, case study research, ethnographic research. We also have grounded theory, and lastly, historical research. So, iisa-isahin natin ang lahat ng uri ng qualitative research today. So first, let's start with narrative research. So in identifying whether a certain research study is a narrative research o kung ito ba yung gusto mong gawin sa iyong qualitative research, I want you to remember 3 different terms. So first, we have the word experiences. Second, narrate. Third, story. So gusto kong tandaan nyo yung 3 terms na binigay ko sa inyo about narrative research. What is narrative research?
Life accounts of individuals based on their personal experiences are typically obtained and analyzed in the conduct of narrative research. The primary objective of narrative research is to extract meaningful context based on the documented experiences of the respondents. Unlike phenomenological research, which focuses on describing and explaining a phenomenon through the lived experiences of the participants, narrative research focuses merely on the nature of the story told by the participants.
Yes, so when we do narrative research, we focus on the life experiences of our respondents. We focus on their stories and their own experiences on a particular phenomenon. For example,
a researcher seeks to characterize the struggles faced by student athletes. So in this particular type of narrative research, we will be able to find out the struggles or some of the difficulties encountered by students athletes. So the researcher focuses on the experiences of the respondents. So who are the respondents? The student athletes. The second example is a researcher seeks to describe the daily teaching experiences of millennial teachers in the school's division of Cavite. So what happens here? So the researcher wants to identify what are the daily teaching experiences of those teachers who fall in the millennial generation in the school's division of Cavite. So definitely this focuses on the experiences of the teachers. So it focuses on their stories.
Ayan, so malinaw na ngayon ang narrative research. Dako naman tayo sa phenomenological research. Sige nga, sabihin mo nga ulit, bawal mabulol. Phenomenological research. Okay, well, okay yan, good job. So, ano yung phenomenological research?
Phenomenological research focuses on subjective, lived experiences of the participants in order to understand phenomenon. It is also concerned with the feelings of the participants regarding a particular event or activity. Hence, the uniqueness of their lived situations can be described. Interview is the common instrument used for its data collection with the suggested sample size ranging from 5 to 25.
From the term itself, phenomenological, phenomenon. Kung si narrative research nakafocus sa experiences ng respondents, this time si phenomenological research nakafocus sa phenomenon, or it focuses on the actual situation felt or experienced by the respondents. So you focus on the experiences or the lived experiences of your respondents in order to understand a specific phenomenon. Bibigyan ko kayo ng examples para mas malinaw.
So here are examples of phenomenological research. So the first one is losing family members to COVID-19 hasn't been easy. A detailed study of survivors and people who've lost loved ones. So kung yung narrative research kanina focuses on the struggles of the athletes, the daily experiences of the teachers in a certain school in Cavite or in a certain division in Cavite, this time nakafocus naman tayo sa pinaka-aktual na nangyari or doon sa sitwasyon ng mga respondents. So doon sa unang example natin, ano ang situation? Yes, losing family members. Doon tayo nakafocus. Okay? So ano yung experiences nila? So ibig sabihin, ang mga respondents mo dito will have similar experiences. At ano yon? They lost family members because of COVID-19. Now, the second one, what's it like to be diagnosed with a terminal disease when a person becomes a parent? Okay, very detailed, ano? Merong mga tao talaga and they experience terminal disease. Pero dito, ang gusto mong maging particular respondent ay those who were diagnosed with a terminal disease but at the same time, parent sila. Okay? So, dito, nakafocus ka talaga sa pangyayari or sa phenomenon na nararanasan ng respondents mo.
So, si phenomenological at si narrative research, huwag kayong malilito. Tatandaan nyo lang na pag narrative research ang gagamitin nyo, you focus on the experiences of your respondents on a particular phenomenon. So, si phenomenological naman, nakafocus ka doon sa pinakasitwasyon. So, ano yung mga nararanasan ng mga respondents mo para mas maunawaan mo yung particular na situation or phenomenon na yan. Now, let's move on to case study research.
Case study is a qualitative research which allows the researcher to have an intensive analysis of the phenomenon. The aim of this study is to accurately describe the case through an in-depth examination of a single person or a single institution. With this, thorough interview, observation, and documentation are all utilized as multiple data collection instruments.
This time, when we say case study, from the term itself again, we have cases. So, mas malalim to na pag-examine, or it's actually a deeper understanding or examination of a particular case. So, kadalasan sa isang case study, usually isang tao lang or ang respondents natin para mas malalim yung pag-examine natin ng isa or ng isang particular na sitwasyon or phenomenon. So, I'll give you examples of case study research.
I have here a real and an actual case study research of Genie Wiley. So this is a true story of a young girl subjected to horrific abuse and isolation. The case study of Genie allowed researchers to study whether language could be taught even after critical periods for language development had been missed. So Genie was actually isolated. So there were a lot of isolated cases or cases of isolated children who went feral. So, hindi sila normal na lumaki in a normal environment or in a natural environment because they were isolated. So, nakakulong sila. So, her case also serves as an example of how scientific research may interfere with treatment and lead to further abuse of vulnerable individuals. So, ang nangyari kasi sa case na to, she was imprisoned and she was actually observed by scientists. So, siya lang mag-isa. So, siya yung naging kaso, yung case. So, remember, case study focuses on one individual only for an in-depth understanding of a phenomenon. So, if you want to know more about Genie Wiley's case study, so I will include the link of Genie sa description box below.
Next type of research natin is grounded theory.
This kind of qualitative research intends to explain a phenomenon through developing a theory. Grounded theory, in comparison with phenomenological study that primarily describes lived experiences, grounded theory aims to provide explanation and theory behind those lived experiences. Interview and supporting documents are the commonly used data collection instrument for its participants, approximately ranging from 20 to 30 until data achieved saturation.
So this time naman, si grounded theory ay para din siyang phenomenological and narrative research kasi you also examine a particular phenomenon. But the difference is in grounded theory, you explain a particular phenomenon in order to generate a theory. So when we say theory, this is a carefully thought out explanation for observations of the natural world that has been constructed using research. We can also define theory as a set of principles on which the practice of an activity is based. Also, in the simplest of terms, when we say theory, it's a set or a system of ideas intended to explain something. So when you do grounded theory sa iyong study, so you still obtain your respondents' experiences, your respondents' lived experiences, but for the purpose of generating a theory. So bigyan ko kayo na examples for this to be clear for you.
A researcher attempts to conceptualize the breast cancer survivorship process among Caviteños. So dito, the researcher attempts or wants to identify how or to generate actually a theory among breast cancer survivors and what's the theory behind the process of surviving breast cancer among Caviteños. On the second example, we have a researcher attempts to generate a theory of defense mechanisms of students who experience cyberbullying. So kung si narrative research, you have or you focus on the experiences of the respondents, si phenomenological nakafocus sa phenomenon, si grounded theory naman, you get those experiences not to narrate them like that of a narrative research, but to formulate a theory behind those experiences.
Now let's have the ethnographic qualitative research. So when we say ethnographic research,
Ethnographic research. It is a kind of qualitative research which concentrates on the study of a group of people in a particular environment. To characterize behaviors, cultures, challenges, and possible occurring themes, the researcher is required to engage himself or herself with the participants through immersion in an extended period of time. So, anong ibig sabihin nun? Para mas makapag-research at makapag-identify si researcher, he or she needs to engage himself or herself. Kailangan nandun siya at nararanasan niya yung mismong sitwasyon with or together or along with the participants through an extended period of time. So, i-immerse ni researcher yung sarili niya doon sa community with or among the participants. Observation, along with the use of interview and survey, is an essential instrument for this type of study.
We focus on groups of people. So we study people belonging in a particular community. In ethnographic research, we focus on the behavior, the culture, the challenges of a particular group of people. So usually dito sa ethnographic research, kailangan mag-i-immerse si researcher doon sa community noong kanyang mga respondents. So ito very common to doon sa mga researchers natin na sometimes they tend to research on indigenous people sa let's say sa mga uplands, yun sa mga bundok natin. So minsan pumupunta sila doon so they to live with the ethnic groups there or with the tribal groups there in order to identify their lived experiences. So napakatagal gawin ng isang ethnographic research. Kaya kung magka-qualitative research ka sa practical research 1 mo, hindi ko ma-advise na gamitin mo tong ethnographic research kasi nga naman, kailangan mo talagang pumunta doon sa lugar for you to experience firsthand for you to experience it yourself how they live in their society or in their community. So yun yung tinatawag nating ethnographic research. So I'll give you more examples of it.
A researcher seeks to determine the cultural practices and healthcare beliefs of the ethnic group living in Bataan province. So, anong ibig sabihin nito? So, the researcher wants to determine kung ano yung mga practices or cultural practices at kung ano yung mga paniniwala ng isang ethnic group na nakatira sa Bataan province pertaining to their healthcare beliefs, ano ba yung mga pamantayan o paniniwala nila sa kalusugan. So, doon yon sa Bataan province. So, most likely, yung researcher i-immerse o pupunta doon sa probinsya na yon na part ng Bataan at doon niya mismo or he or she would live with the ethnic group there in Bataan province to be able to observe and to interview them. The next one is a researcher seeks to characterize the survival strategies of families in an urban poor community. So I think this is also a very common type of ethnographic research. So I think if you are watching documentaries like Eyewitness and a lot of documentaries in television, so you'll see there some of our reporters or members of the media, so they try to immerse, pumupunta sila doon sa mga tinatawag nating depressed areas or urban poor community, and they try to live with the people there in order to research more and to observe on what kind of life or their survival strategies in that area.
Lastly, we have the historical. History. So yung mga mahilig sa history dyan, I think this one is really for you.
Historical research is a qualitative research concerned with the identification, evaluation, and synthesis of past event data. Further, it aims to understand present patterns and to anticipate future choices through clearly relating the past event data which are obtained from sources such as documents, relics, and artifacts, and oral reports.
So if you are conducting historical research, the focus of your study will be the things of the past or the history. So dito, sa historical research, you are trying to connect different patterns from the past to the present and kung ano yung maaari pang mangyari in the future. So ano yung ginagamit sa historical research? So kadalasan these are documents, relics, artifacts, oral report, at marami pang iba. So I'll give you examples of historical research for it to be clear for you.
A researcher attempts to explore the nature and context of the political leadership of Cavite governors. Another is a researcher seeks to explore the development in the courtship letter writing style among Caviteños. So this is great. So actually, with some of the documents that you have, if you have evidence. So you are going to identify the history behind these practices and these styles. So ito yung tinatawag nating historical research.
O yan, na-discuss na natin lahat or the different types of qualitative research. So, alin dyan ang gagamitin mo para sa iyong practical research 1 study or sa iyong qualitative research. So, if meron ka ng plano kung anong research or qualitative research ang gagamitin mo, so share mo naman sa comment section kung anong type ng qualitative research do you plan to carry out for your practical research 1. So, I hope nakatulong yung video natin today. Don't forget to like and subscribe and also to hit the notification below for you to be updated of our Practical Research 1 series videos. So thank you so much, and it's nice to have you again in my class. I hope to see you again next time. Have a great day. Bye!